I'm live. It is live. So I wanted to do a quick update. This is not a gaming live stream. I gamed earlier. I'm gonna start producing videos this way because it is great on time. I can kind of come in and create content on the fly that is somewhat decent. So this video is actually going to be about my uh, journey, if you will. I hate calling it that, but my weight loss journey, my breaking up with sugar. I mean, if you look back to 2015 or 2016, I had started putting videos out that were talking about weight loss. And the way I approached it then was to work out really hard and eat whatever I want. Because that's up to that age. I think at that time in 2016, I was probably, 8 years younger. So I was 32, 33, my early 30s. Just kind of got over the hump of 30 and started realizing my metabolism had changed. So I gained some weight. Anyways, long story short, the last decade basically was me trying to lose weight by running and working out aggressively, and that didn't work for me. So earlier this year, I read a book called Breaking Up with Sugar by Molly Carmel, and that book influenced me to give up sugar, even though I was basically talking myself out of it. So while, like I said, this is normally, if you're joining from Twitch, hello. This is normally going to be more gaming, but I also have like a YouTube channel that I put content out. It's kind of a hodgepodge of like everything. I have literally like 12 YouTube channels, but this is my personal YouTube channel. My name is Marshall Malone. And yeah, this is more of just a chat to talk about what I've recently gone through. So, like I said, the book that I read kind of inspired me to quit eating sugar and refined carbs. And at the time of reading this book, I was 309 pounds. I'm 6'3", so I'm sort of tall. I'm not super tall. I definitely know people taller than me, but I'm tall and big. And so that was in August. And basically, the book talks about quitting for 66 days, and there's research about that. Essentially, 66 days is the average amount of time it takes for a human to learn a new habit. And as far as I was concerned, eating sugar was a habit from the time I was like a child. I mean, my parents never told me it was bad for me. Of course, you saw like advertisements back then that, said don't eat too much sugar. And it was kind of in the culture, but it wasn't as serious as it should have been. Like, basically, sugar was in everything. It still is to this day. Like, kids' products are marketed like peddling sugar and whatnot. So I started that 66 days in August 10th, which was 67 days, I think, before I turned 40. So I'm 40 years old now, and 66 days later, I successfully did it. And at the time of that 66 days, I'd lost like 50 pounds. Since that 66 days, in the past month, I've lost maybe 4 pounds. I'm down from 309 down to 252. My weight goes up and down. I've been sitting in the 50 something range for the past month. So my weight loss by the method of just like not eating sugar and carbs has kind of started deteriorating. But also, if you followed me before, I'm actually going to pull up a different screen. I'm going to pull up this browser where I kind of like, this is just on Instagram, my personal Instagram. I have a collection that I created that was basically every post that I made about it. So I started doing it every day. You can see day 0. I'll go ahead and play it real quick. If it'll play. Are you going to play? Of course. No, it doesn't want to do it. So like this collection thing is not working. All right, maybe I feel like, look, I've been around technology for a long time and I look like such a boomer right now. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Just needed to be refreshed. All right, and there's Molly Carmel, actually, the creator of the book that I read. So more about her in a minute. Make sure you guys can hear this. Monitor it. Oh, you can't. Well, maybe you can. Anyways, you get the idea. I basically, that was my intro video to this adventure, whatever you want to call it. Um, I was trying to document every day, and as you can see, I skipped day 5, and then skipped like a whole week. I look absolutely crazy in that picture. Remember this one very vividly, and it's great to look back on these because I was so angry in this video. I think I recorded it like 6 times and I could not get it right. And I don't want to get into what I was angry about, but it kind of all links together in a sense that like my sugar addiction tends to rise out of situations where I feel out of control. And so I was really out of control. I was kind of approaching, I made a handful of money last year untaxed. But through the proper ways. Like I was a contractor, and I'd been doing this. I've been a contractor, independent contractor, for at least 8 years, 7 years, something like that. So this was like the final year where I said, all right, I'm done with that, because I never got a system of like saving enough for my taxes. And so essentially tax season was around this time, and I owed thousands of dollars, and I was basically like trying to figure out how to come up with that money, because Joe Biden, I don't know. I shouldn't probably say Joe Biden. It's a divisive person. The fact of the matter is 2022 has been financially one of the hardest years for me. I don't know who is responsible for it. I'm not very smart. So anyways, I'll admit that. Yeah. So as you can see, eventually, I started combining videos and like skipped a whole month and then ended it here. In that, like I said, in that time, I could show you the chart. This is a chart. I could probably pull it up on the web somehow. This is an app basically that is tracking my entries right here. You can see the numbers and everything. This is connected to my phone. It's a scale that I step on and sends a Bluetooth signal to my phone. Now, I've had doubters say, oh, you should try a different scale, whatever. The fact is, even if I'm heavier or lighter or whatever, that curve is not a lie. Like, that is a real like weight loss curve, and it is real. So I've actually had somebody tell me that I needed to try another scale, which I have. I've tried scales at the doctor. I've tried scales at Publix, which Publix is notorious for having like old-timey scales that you step on, like really gigantic scales that are very accurate, with the pins that go around. So I'm the same weight there. This is my real weight, but yeah, I don't want to say who did it, but oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to. I apologize. At least I'm talking. You can hear me. This is what you were supposed to see. I had the browser up covering my OBS screen. This is the thing where I just played the video. You don't need to watch it. This is it. But this is what I was trying to explain for the past 5 minutes. This is a stream on Instagram that I created under my collections. You can get to it by following me on Instagram. You can watch all the videos. I also have it on my website, themarshallmalone.com. And you can go to the blog. I haven't updated it. I actually stopped it at day 16, so I need to update it. But I have the majority of them here, and you can come in, and I wrote up little blogs or whatever. My website's going. So it's just my internet. I don't know. But yeah, nothing major, just simple little blog posts. But yeah. So the reason I wanted to make this video, and I'll transition back over here. Not that I think I have like 1 viewer right now. The reason I wanted to make this update video is, for one, I haven't updated in a while. I guess I will switch back to my browser, because there's a couple other things that I think I linked to here. This is my resume page. Some media stuff. This is a podcast that I was on, What's Your Craving, with Molly Carmel. She's the creator she's the author of the book. Let's go to more episodes. And I'm in one of the recent ones. Here's Beyond Day 66 with Marshall Malone. I don't know if there's a video version. She may have. Let's go to the website. I think there's a YouTube page. Let's go here. I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch myself, but yeah, here it is. Yeah, Beyond Day 66. Um, 51 views. Let's see if there's any. No comments. Okay.
Good morning.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
I'm so awkward. I'll watch the first few seconds.
Okay. It's 8:00 in the morning. I love this time.
Me too. Oh my gosh, I'm so shy and nervous. Anyways, yeah. So a lot of weight loss. You can go watch that episode. I will never watch it. But yeah, there's a couple episodes of me being interviewed. There's one at the very beginning of the 66 days. I think it was day 4, and then day 66, or post 66. I think it was a few days after. I guess the reason I'm inspired to do an update ultimately is because for the past, let's see, my son's birthday was on, oh my gosh, 2 weeks ago. I broke my vow 2 weeks ago on his birthday, and I am paying for it because it kind of reactivated something inside of me. I started the day out like every day, and we made breakfast for everyone. We actually made keto breakfast, which breakfast is technically always keto if you don't eat bread. Eggs and bacon, keep it simple. But we made something called sausage balls, which is typically like pancake batter mixed with sausage, cheese, cream cheese, etc. And we replaced that with almond flour and made some keto versions of that. And yeah, I ate some of those, but then where I went wrong was we had donuts instead of a birthday cake, and we couldn't find any keto donuts, so I ended up having a donut, and I think I had another one after that. First time I had done that in 3 months, 4 months or something, and from that point forward, we had Halloween, and well, prior to that, we had Halloween, and I stayed away from the candy. I think I go back, maybe I did have a piece of candy. So like somewhere around Halloween, the wheels started to fall off of my cart. Now, I replaced them in the sense that I had a piece of candy. I didn't binge. Then I had a donut eventually. I had 2, which considering the amount of calories and fat and sugar, that's kind of a binge. But I think old me probably would have eaten 3 or 4 donuts, maybe even half of a dozen by the end of the day, depending on the situation. So there's some small achievements in this, and that I'm not binging every day. Well, let me take that back. From the time that I had that donut, I did have a piece of chocolate almost every single day. And today, I actually had a Coke Zero, which I know you're thinking, if you don't know much about this type of diet, oh, it's no sugar. Well, it's got aspartame or some other kind of alternative sweetener that spikes your insulin way higher. It's like higher on the glycemic index than sugar. So it's essentially worse for you. I have been struggling for the past 2 weeks, off and on. Not every day, but a lot of days. And I actually binge ate last night. I ate potato chips. And, man, I know this seems kind of stupid for somebody that's 20 years old, or the majority of people on Twitch. I don't even know if there's a community out there for people that are trying to prevent diabetes from happening, because essentially that's what I am trying to do. Is I just turned 40, and I knew that my dad had diabetes around this age, had gotten it around this age, or maybe a little bit before, and weighing over 300 pounds for over half a decade, the amount of damage that did on my heart, like my blood pressure, it's very serious for me, because I don't, I have two kids. I want to live for as long as I possibly can. I want to set them up for success as well. And I'm not really doing that. I haven't really been doing that the past, most of their lives until recently. And so the good news is I haven't gained any weight. That's good. I'm kind of staying at 252, 253. I've been up and down that weight for the past few weeks 2 weeks since it started. I haven't been able to crack into the 240s. The bright side of this is that the last time I was I'm actually less weight than I was before my daughter was born. So like right before my daughter was born, I had gained a lot of weight and got up to 254. Soon after that, I started running every day. Like I think I was running 4 miles a day, like every day, up until the time she was born. And I lost like, I think 15 or 16 pounds or something in that short period of time. So technically, I'm in just as good a shape as I was before my daughter was born. That was kind of a goal I wanted to get to, like a short goal, and I reached that I would say about a month ago. Now my goal is to get down to before the time I met my significant other, my partner. We're not married, so I can't say wife because technically she's not my wife, but we've been together for going on 13 years. Wow. Going on 13 years. Wow. And we have family together. So we are basically married. If we lived in a state that had common law marriage, we'd be married. So I'm trying to get back to that way. And I've felt more positive about that goal, especially looking at the past like 6 years. I mean, if you just go onto my YouTube channel and look at the amount of times I've tried to lose weight over the years and the different ways I've tried to do it, this is the first time I've actually been able to do it. Now, my concern is, am I plateauing? I am walking every day for 30 minutes to an hour. I wear a weight vest of 20 pounds actually now that I got off of Amazon that adds more weight onto me to help me burn more calories. Like, because if I've lost 57 pounds, that's 57 pounds less that I'm carrying around to, increase the amount of calories I'm burning. So I tried to replace some of it by wearing 20 pounds extra when I walk and run. I did run the other day and I felt really good. I've been stretching my hamstrings. Like if you look back on my YouTube videos where I was running and stuff and I'd start running programs, I was constantly complaining about leg problems. That's mostly gone. I've got the pain isolated to my, sometimes it's my left heel and sometimes it's my right heel. I'm talking about like the bottom of the foot. For a while, my Achilles was acting up, I'd say about 2 weeks ago. And then I started doing new stretches, like, kind of focusing on the ankles and the joints, the lower extremities, if you will. And that's helped out a little bit. So when I run, I'm not experiencing that pain. The only problem is it's like really cold and it's hard to catch my breath in that, like in this really, really bitter cold. Even though it's Florida, I know people are probably like, it's not that cold, it's Florida. But when you're used to walking and running in like 80-degree weather and having that full like breath, the cold weather does change it a little bit. I've had COVID 3 times too, so it could be like long COVID symptoms. Anyways, so I'm just basically putting this out there. I don't know if I'll put anything out there on Instagram. I may just share a link to this to give people an update, because there is quite a few people that are interested in my journey. I hate calling it that, but it's so cliche. This is not really, this is just my new life, and I've screwed up, I messed up, and I've talked to people that have successfully stayed away from it for 20 years. So there's no excuse that I can't do it. It's very hard with the kids the age that they are. I'm not able to just rip sugar out of their lives. Financially, it's very expensive to do that. If I were to try to replace all their snacks and everything's just basically twice as much. In a lot of cases, up to twice as much as a regular conventional sugary snack. Trying to switch them to fruits it's not easy after raising them the way we have, and we only really got this way maybe in the past few years because of the pandemic, and the pandemic really like shot our family's diet in the ass, if you will. It just really made it difficult. A lot of fast food. I mean, we were eating out a lot, and we don't do that anymore, thank God. Because there's nothing in where we live. There's like really no nice restaurants. We have to travel downtown to go to anywhere decent, and so there's nothing but fast food around here. And it sucks. But Anyways, I'm not like one of the things Molly Carmel said, and I've heard a lot in that community that I'm not really as tight with as I should be, is that you don't burn the car down when it breaks down. You try to fix it, and I'm not gonna burn the car down and walk away just because I got a flat tire. Um, and also another thing she said that the cart that I have to carry, if I fall off the horse or the horse's cart or the cart, whatever saying you want to say, I got to make my cart bigger, and that's what I've done. And that's why the feelings that would normally happen when I fuck up like this, they're not there. There's a little bit of disappointment, but it's not an overwhelming like I'm sitting down thinking like, oh my god, I've fucked up my whole life now. Like I've wasted the last 3 months because now I've eaten sugar, and I'm not doing that to myself because ultimately sugar is going to exist in the world. It's like any argument you have with anything that's dangerous: sugar, drugs, guns. These things exist in the world, and it's how you react to them and how you handle yourself around them. That's what matters. You can't eliminate these things. Now, you can try to eliminate these things from your life. Like, I'm not a gun owner, but I still think that people should have the right to bear arms. That's part of our Constitution, and I believe in the American Constitution. I believe that there's room to change it and amend it. And I am somewhat of a progressive thinker in certain areas, but I don't know why I'm talking about that. I guess because it correlates to self-control. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not going to get down that road or anything. But when it comes to sugar, I can't pretend that it's not going to be around. It's going to be around every time there's a holiday. Even though we're getting in the habit of when there's a holiday, let's plan a keto like dessert that I can have that's got almond flour, erythritol, or stevia or monk fruit, and from good sources. Which there's a lot of videos out there. Dr. Berg talks a lot about the types of stevia and everything. I really recommend you check Dr. Berg out for any information on how to quit sugar. I don't think he has any direct, like you have to basically watch a lot of his stuff to get that information, but it's like reading a book. You got to spend time researching. Anyways, yeah, I feel good that I got that out, and this is like a 25. Oh, looks like I'm reconnected. That's the thing about live streams. I don't know what happened. I had a pretty steady stream until then. I'll need to pull up the stats. Anyways, long story short, I've eaten sugar. I screwed up a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. I will bounce back from this. And yeah, go follow me on Instagram.com/the Marshall Malone, or just look for me, the Marshall Malone, pretty much anywhere. I'm trying to take over that that'd be my permanent going forward. So yeah, breaking up with sugar. I'm not done. I'm still working on it. I might have to recommit and start my vows again. But I've basically vowed for the rest of my life to be at least aware of my consumption of sugar, because it's not going to be perfect. I've already realized it's not going to be perfect. But anyways, this was just a quick little update. I might live stream some more later. I don't know. We'll see. Look for me later.